Welcome to Oilers Nation Everyday with your hosts, Tyler and Liam.
Connor McDavid, really good. Or as the Czechs would say it, Connor McDavid, yefek dobry. Let's get into it with the lead. Yeah, bilingual. Shout out to Google Translate. Shout out to all of you. Welcome into Oilers Nation Everyday. We are live from the Sports Closet studio. Winter Games gear. They got it. Check them out online, sportscloset.ca. This show, a presentation of Bet365. Download the app today. Use the promo code NATION, whatever the moment. It's never ordinary at Bet365. Tyler Yaremchuk. And where's Liam? I don't know where Liam is. There he is. Oh, get over here, you rascal. Quit watching curling.
Hello. I was trying to hide, but you found me.
Breaking news to begin the show, Liam.
Knobloch fired.
No. We have lineup news for Team Canada.
Oh, I saw this.
Josh Morrissey is out tonight. Brad Marchand taking a little rest. Seth Jarvis and Travis Sanheim will both play. Logan Thompson and Darcy Kemper are the two goalies on Canada's roster. Anything there? I mean, not totally surprising that they're going to, get Jarvis a game here after sitting the first one. I think the last thing you'd want is an injury later in the tournament to force you to have to play someone for the first time in potentially a week or 10 days or whatever. So it all makes sense. Sucks that Josh Morrissey's out. Logan Thompson likely going to get the start, but warm-ups begin, well, before the end of our show today. So we'll have official word later on. But anything stand out to you?
No, I think it is good that they at least got Kemper on the bench and give him the experience of being in an Olympic game. I think that's just a sign of togetherness, I guess you can say, from the coaching staff, and I think it's a smart thing. Brad Marchand, I know he made the good play to Bo Horvat yesterday, but he did look a step behind. He's still slow, you know what I mean, in comparison. And, if Morrissey's hurt, then you got to get him out. I just don't like the idea of it not being a mobile defenseman. I think Travis Sanheim is a good player. Don't get me wrong. He plays like 24 minutes a night for the Flyers every game. He's more than capable, but he probably wanted a bit more mobility. So I'm curious to see what the parents end up being today.
Yeah, curious to see how they use them, I suppose, is my thing with 7 defensemen. How much will Travis Sanheim play? How close will his hockey game be with Switzerland? We will break that all down because it is a game day edition of the show. And game days on Oilers Nation Every Day are brought to you by Capital Buick GMC. Check out their extensive inventory of top-quality vehicles like the 2026 GMC Terrain Denali or the 2026 Sierra Denali Ultimate. Capital GMC Buick is dedicated to providing you with the best possible customer service, and they are rated the #1 GM dealership in the country by Dealer Rate 3 consecutive years as well. 3 years rated #1.
Damn.
How about that? The only GM dealer in Edmonton endorsed by JD Power as a dealer of excellence. Liam, before we look ahead to the game today against Switzerland, you and I obviously live for the watch along yesterday. So I think some people maybe have a decent idea of our thoughts on that hockey game, but let's break down what we saw yesterday against Czechia. I think in one line, and maybe you can give me one line as well, predictable outcome, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think you could even label it, if you want to go on the flip side of it, like underwhelming from Czechia. I thought they were going to be a little bit better of a team. I know they really only have, 4 NHL forwards, I guess, 5 with David Kempf as well, but Kubalik isn't that far removed from playing NHL games in the playoffs. Obviously, he was part of that Chicago team that knocked the Oilers out of the play-in rounds, we're calling it, right? So I expected a little bit more from the Czechs, a little bit more pushback, and they had moments in the first, but once Celebrini got that goal, it seemed to just break the camel's back.
Yeah, 5 seconds left in the first period. Max Celebrini scores the first of his first Olympic goal, the first goal of the men's tournament for Canada. Do you think we'll ever get to a point where we just call him Max Celebrini, or do you think it'll always be Macklin?
Maybe they call him, maybe if he gets like another nickname, we can call him MC Blank. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I just don't know what that would be.
Here.
Yeah, I could see it. We do need something with him, but maybe not Max Celebrini. Macklin Celebrini just seems to fit.
Yeah, I think so. You're right. It is, although it's multiple syllables on both fronts, it does flow pretty well as a name. That aside, this Mac was tremendous. Our Mac was also unbelievable. Connor McDavid, a 3-point performance, undoubtedly the best player on the ice. Not only did he lead all of Canada's forwards in time on ice, Connor McDavid himself was responsible for 14 scoring chances in the game against Czechia. The Czechs as a team only had 12. Connor McDavid was everywhere. We can go from his big hit early in the game, his 3-assist performance, 6 shots on goal, flying up and down the ice. That top line looked like a top line. Connor McDavid looked like the best player in the world.
Yep. And he answered the question I wasn't even asking. Is he the best player in the world? Because he is. And he played really well yesterday. It was good to see him just on that stage, for everyone to see. And he showed up in game one and starts it out with that huge hit as well. I think it was Sedlak who he hit, right? Probably very unexpected. I thought his post-game interview was really good too, where they asked him about the hit, and he's like, well, it can't just be Marchand and Wilson that are doing it. It's like, we're here as a team, we'll play as a team, and we have these issues as a team. So I like that he just went ahead and set a statement like we referenced it yesterday in the watch along, similar to the Game 7 win over the Kings, where right off the bat he just goes nails Sean Dursey into the back wall. So yeah, it was a good game from Connor McDavid. I'm hoping for more of the same today, which I do expect.
Oh, without a doubt. And I mean, listen, Switzerland should be we'll call it relatively tough test. I'd say a test that's pretty much on the same level as the Czechs were. Switzerland, by the way, I believe today is, they beat France 4-0 in their opening game of the tournament. So Switzerland's 1-0, Canada's 1-0 in their group so far. We'll talk a little bit more about how things are shaking down around the other groups. Stephen Ellis is going to be our big guest today. But as we continue to recap last game, we'll talk about some of, we'll say, the negative side of things here, but I'll go with my Bright Dental moment of the game, Liam. Shout out to our friends at Bright Dental, a family dental office located in St. Albert, open Monday to Friday, 8 to 8. Bright Dental is a Blue Diamond Invisalign provider, and you can schedule your free dental scan through them today. They offer a full range of dental services, including same-day crowns. Give them a call or go online, brightdental.ca. Liam, the moment that made me smile was, well, I mean, just seeing Canada back, best on best hockey at the Olympics. Connor McDavid, letter on his jersey, playing for the red and white. It was all unbelievable, but I will say there is something, I don't know if nostalgic's the right word, but there's something about the grizzled vet Sidney Crosby going out there and still just being like a dominant force. And again, this is a game against Czechia. I totally understand that. I'm not sitting here crowning anybody a gold medal winner or this Olympics a success off of one preliminary round game. But one thing that did give me a smile outside of Connor McDavid's dominance was just seeing Sid on the ice and getting one more chance to see him compete in a tournament like this, because honestly, we were robbed of 2 of them that came right in the prime of his career.
Yeah, you should be talking about Sidney Crosby in the sense of he's going for, what would that be, his 5th Olympic gold medal. You know what I mean? Like, we should be having those conversations. Instead, he's going for his 3rd, which is really great still, don't get me wrong. But we've just been stripped of these years due to whatever separated them from going to the Olympics. But it was cool to see. I think going into the Olympics, obviously there's so much conversation about like the rosters and everything. But I think it's even fun to see like the other players on these other top teams. Like obviously Pasternak, we saw him on Czechia yesterday, and we'll see Yossi again today. And even watching Draisaitl play for Germany was really cool, and scores like right off the bat, and just how exciting it is for these players to put on their nation's colors and go and compete. And I think that's the side of it we always forget, is there's a human side of it and the pride of these players putting it into playing for their countries.
Yeah, without a doubt. Another thing that was obviously a big positive, and again, I'm sure Team Canada management was smiling yesterday, seeing Jordan Binnington give the performance that he did. Like, listen, in a 5-0 game, there aren't going to be a lot of times where the goalie is the one stealing the show, Liam, but these numbers were great. A 26-save shutout for Binnington, and I asked Carter Hutton this question today, so I'll throw it your way now. There is a blank % chance that Jordan Binnington is starting the quarterfinal game. What is it, 5 days from now for Canada? Jordan Binnington, % chance starting in or being the medal round goalie for Canada. Liam, what say you?
I think it's 100%, to be honest. I think with Cooper's comments yesterday, when they asked him, was like, when did you decide Binnington was going to start that game? And he said 358 days ago. And then there was the conversation that he had with him. I think it was when Tampa was in St. Louis or vice versa, whatever it ended up being. And I just think the fact that these conversations have been happening behind closed doors just tell me that Canada's has a plan. And they want to run back exactly what happened at the Four Nations. And we've already seen it with the blue line and players who didn't make the initial roster then called up as these replacements. Like, I think they're just very comfortable with what they won with previously.
I agree. And Jordan Binnington, I also agree with you that it's 100% chance. Like, the only way Jordan Binnington is not playing in that quarterfinal game, and I know we're maybe getting ahead of ourselves already talking about the quarterfinal game. They have to beat Switzerland today if they want to win their group. But the only way Binnington's not playing is if he gets hurt on Sunday against France. And I do think, I know it's a congested tournament and games happen very fast, but you're going likely with Logan Thompson in this one today. Even if Logan Thompson has a 26-save shutout of his own, I don't think that's enough to dethrone what Binnington did in game one in what was, arguably going to be your toughest test against Czechia. He probably gets that start on Sunday because they'll want to keep him, we'll say, relatively fresh. The other thing Canada's probably really going to want to push for here is having a better goal differential than whoever wins Group C. Group B, I think you're kind of already locked in to have a better goal differential than them if you go 3-0. Yeah. So you're going to want to have a better goal differential than either the Americans or the Germans, whoever wins Group C. And yes, I'm keeping that door open still that Germany can pull out a big win. But you want to be the number one seed so that you get not only the easiest quarterfinal matchup, but then you also avoid potentially USA or whoever the other 3 seed is in the semifinal as well. So there is incentive to Canada starting Binnington on Sunday and blowing out France.
Yeah, there definitely is. And Italy, obviously, a decent result today for them against Slovakia, only losing 3-2. Like, it does kind of, I know France kind of came back on the Czechs, but when the Czechs really knuckled down, like, they seem to be a bit of a pushover. So it feels like France might be the weakest team at the games this year, which is good for Canada. Like, they should smoke them.
They absolutely should, and you're right. Like, they pushed Czechia a little bit today. They got those, 3 goals in 4 minutes or whatever. And then, I mean, if you were watching that game, like, Czechia just put their pedal right back down to the floor. They scored those goals on, 7 shots. France did. Czechia was dominant in that hockey game, and if Canada was able to dominate Czechia, in turn, they should be able to dominate France on Sunday. And to bring it back to the goaltending point, Jordan Binnington should get that start on Sunday. Jordan Binnington should get a shutout or close to it in that game on Sunday, and then he'll be starting in the quarterfinals. And the only way he loses the crease, I guess, would be, Liam, if Canada were to win a game like 6-5 and Jordan Binnington was really bad, but they win anyways. Maybe you'd consider something different in the semifinal and give Logan Thompson a look, but I think it's going to be Jordan Binnington's crease the whole way here, and that is not a surprise. What else do you kind of stood out to you? Like, the top line looked like the top line. We talked about it on the stream. At times, maybe McDavid and Wilson weren't quite speaking the same language, but you could tell they were close. And I think that line should get better as they go on. They still had a very good game. To me, the standout was the third line. If you would have had me pick at the start of the tournament which one of the forward lines in the top 9 was going to have to get disrupted, I would have said it was that third line. I worried about the boots a little bit. I thought they were excellent in that game against Czechia.
I thought they were too, and I think it just shows how Mark Stone was a heavily criticized pick for Canada. And I thought on that third line, like you said, it was just reliable defensive trio who caused no problems. And I mean, obviously they play Czechia. The opponent is what it is. But I feel like even when they go up against the U.S., like, you can throw that line out and that's going to be like, okay, these guys are going to get us out of trouble here. And I think we'll grow to appreciate them more and more as the tournament goes on. But yeah, I would label that as a positive for the game. I was going to say evening, but it was a morning game. A non-Brad Dintle moment, if you don't mind me flipping it.
Sure, frowning moment.
I mean, people pointed out in the live stream that we did yesterday to the watch along, the blue line was underwhelming outside of McCann, especially once Morrissey left the game. They just struggled to move the puck. I thought efficiently. Parayko was probably their second best defenseman, I would say. I thought he did pretty well, but also the competition wasn't a lot around him. I thought Drew Doughty really struggled. I think if Travis Sanheim plays well today, then he should take Doughty's spot, and Doughty should become the seventh defenseman. I just hope Canada has the kahunas to do that if it does end up being that way. Because I did not think Doughty was very good. I thought Devon Taves played okay, but overall, I need to see more from the blue line today. Like, let's get the puck to these forwards a little bit more efficiently. And also, too, keep it in the zone, goddammit.
Well, that was probably my biggest gripe with last game. Is like, I agree. Parayko was very good. He's fast. I just think I'd like to see him pass the puck a little bit better. He did a lot of transport it into the neutral zone, dump it in. I'd like to see Canada play, especially as you get to better opponents, a bit more of a puck possession style of game where they aren't just throwing it into the corner. And I think that's going to have to happen against the Americans, who, if you put pucks in the corner and just try to forecheck on the Americans, all their defensemen move the puck so well, you probably won't get a chance at setting anything up in the O-zone. So I agree with you. I thought for the most part, again, Makar, excellent. Parayko, I would agree with you that he was probably their second best defenseman, even if he had some flaws, but there are some worrying signs there. We'll keep talking about that a little bit later on. Aaron says you got the new lines for today's game. Oh yeah, don't worry. We'll talk about all that stuff later. We'll zero in on tonight's game, or this afternoon game, whatever you want to call it, in a little bit. Did you catch any did you see the highlights from Finland Sweden today, Liam?
No, I saw the score. Sweden, they're really screwing this thing up.
and
we talked about there's going to be disruptions here, and that group going into the final game is looking fun. I'm excited to see them. So that would be Sunday they play, or Saturday, I guess.
I think it's Saturday. They wrap up their round robin. They play tomorrow against Slovakia at I think it's at 1:10 our time, so it's that time slot. Let's keep talking about things here, Liam, and from a tournament perspective with our guy Stephen Ellis. He's brought to you by Oodle Noodle. You can take advantage of the value menu deal and add 2 green onion cakes, 5 spring rolls, or 6 wontons to your order for just $2. Any signature or premium box, check them out online, oodlenoodle.ca. Stephen Ellis from Daily Faceoff, the man that watches more hockey than anybody else, a man that watches a lot of international hockey. Stephen, how have you been enjoying these Olympics so far?
You know, those 4 a.m. wake-ups have been a bit more difficult than I was kind of hoping for, but it's hockey, right? It's awesome. It's been good. That France game, that France period was awesome. Again, when they almost pulled off that miracle against Czechia. But, cool storylines. Hopefully the tournament continues to be as... Like, yesterday, I don't know about you guys. Yesterday's hockey was kind of boring. The day before, awesome. Today's game's pretty solid so far.
So I want to talk about a few of these games that have been closer than expected. Like, you look at Italy through 2 games. I know they're 0-2, but they only have a -4 goal differential, and they've played a 2-0 Slovakia team and a really good Sweden team, a team that obviously has medal aspirations. Like, even France today against Czechia, you mentioned it. They pushed really, really hard in that hockey game. Have you been surprised? I think there were maybe some more casual hockey fans, and, I maybe thought there'd be a few more blowouts too. People thought we'd see, Italy, France are going to lose 12-0. Like, that hasn't been the case, is kind of my point. Have you been surprised at the level of parity?
Not really. Like, I think when you look at France, like, this is a group that plays together quite a bit. Like, having watched this group the last couple of years, they actually just got relegated to Division 1A, which was kind of what made this interesting, that they were the better team for a few minutes there against the Czechs. But like, these are all pros. This isn't the World Juniors where like an 8-0 game. It's like, okay, well, one team's got a bunch of major junior guys and the other team's got a bunch of guys playing in like the Latvian junior league. It's like, well, that's going to, of course, create for some of these things. But you watch the World Championship and it's typically a very close tournament all the time. And yeah, you're going to add those NHL guys and there's going to be a lot more skill. But sometimes adding more NHL players doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be a better team. It just means like everything's got to change. Players got to play slightly different roles than they're used to. And I think with Czechia, they made some mistakes. I think there's no question about that. For Sweden, goaltending really kind of killed them, but they still had 60 shots in that game against Italy. So I think you're seeing goaltending becoming very important for these teams. I think with Italy and France, they just got to figure out how to score. That's just been their biggest issue. I love of Italy, Matt Bradley basically became Italian enough to play for this team like in November. So he played there enough in the Italian league and the ice hockey league, and he's been their best player. Like if he was not there, Italy could very much have 0 goals at this point. So shout out to Matt Bradley, a former Montreal Canadiens prospect.
The Italian goalie, people might not know, he is an Anaheim Ducks second round pick. Do you think he actually has a legit chance to like make it to the NHL?
Yeah, like it's not even that he's a second round, like a draft pick. He was a second round pick. Like that's the thing. This is a guy that was really highly rated. And we talked Tyler a few times on Daily Faceoff Live that draft year, but I was really high on Damien Clark, this 6'6" goalie, and now we're seeing why. It's because he's so athletic. He's got that size you're looking for. Like that breakaway save he made on Elias Pettersson, like that's a trademark of his game, that he just lays out and he's got the legs to make it work. I felt bad that he did cramp in that one, but we did get to see him kind of finish that game against Slovakia, and he was pretty good today. So good for him. But yeah, he's a legit goalie. I think with Anaheim, they've got a couple of decent goalie prospects in the system. It'll be interesting to see what happens when he comes over to North America full time. Because if you do look at the numbers, not great this year playing in Europe, but he's also played behind some really poor defensive systems. So I think it'd be really interesting to see what he could do. But he is a legit goalie prospect, a top 15 goalie prospect across the league right now.
I want to talk about Group B. We'll probably end the conversation with some Canada stuff here, but Slovakia, that group, it's been the stunner so far. And we said coming into this, I think there were a lot of people who just went Sweden, Canada, USA. Best 3 countries, they're going to steamroll their groups, and those are the 3 teams who are going to be seeded 1, 2, and 3 coming out of the preliminary round. And what we've seen so far is that Sweden team really struggle and Slovakia play really, really good. If I gave you like the meter and I asked you to place your spot on like surprised at how good Slovakia's been or surprised at just how poor Sweden's been, where would you kind of go?
Definitely more surprised at how good Slovakia has been. I think with them, like I'd say it's quite surprising because this is a group that looked absolutely horrible at the World Championship. And yeah, they've got a few NHL players, but I didn't expect Slafkovsky to be like this important to the team. I think they still need to rely on a bit more at 5-on-5. It felt like they aren't able to generate a ton of quality chances at 5-on-5, but all you need is a good goalie to get things done. And Samuel Lavai, I wrote about him, like he's done this multiple times at the World Championship. He's been one of the better goalies at that tournament. And again, I know that tournament doesn't typically get best on best, but it gets you a good understanding of where players are. And with Samuel Lavai, he's a legit goalie that he's 24. He's older in his development there. But the thing about him was he was much, much better than Jesper Wallstedt last year in Iowa. And you see what Wallsted's been able to do this year in Minnesota. So it'd be interesting to see if Lavai gets an opportunity. But for Sweden, just a lot of roster mismanagement. What are they doing not playing OEL? Why is Philip Forsberg playing a few minutes? I will say politics they are really they matter to a lot of these hockey federations, and maybe they're looking at the fact that Forsberg's been just kind of like ho-hum at a lot of these international tournaments he's played at, but he's not a 13 forward. He's better than a lot of these guys. They're like, why is Pontus Holmberg playing more than him? Like that doesn't make any sense here. So give Forsberg the opportunity. That one's just I got nothing on that one.
I wanted to ask you about Czechia because obviously Canada beat them 5-0 yesterday, and then today they just had a moment where it kind of collapsed for them. But I feel like this Czechia team, it's supposed to be a hockey country, and it's supposed to be a lot more talent. It just seems like they had a few years where it didn't go well for them developing players. And obviously now we know like they do have a good group coming through. Canada's seen it firsthand at World Juniors. But did they just kind of collapse on themselves developmental-wise, or what kind of happened in this little blip here?
Like, are we just talking like just in this game or like in general?
I think in general, like it just seems like there's not a lot of Czech players in the NHL right now.
Well, we'll say they did win the World Championship 2 years ago, so there was that. So they've actually got a pretty good pipeline, and a big thing for them was that they got a lot of good players that are not NHL players, like Roman Cervenka, Michael Kempny, 2 guys who did play in the NHL. Kempny won the Stanley Cup with the Capitals. He's chasing that triple gold club status here, but overall, I feel like you're looking at this and saying like, yeah, okay, like. There's a bunch of the guys they're probably leaning on a bit too much there, and it's Pasternak and Natchez and Thomas Hertl, who has been very unlucky at points this term. He should probably have like 5 or 6 points. He's been really good. But when David Kamp's your number 2 center, that is a little concerning. For the Czechs, a big thing for them is they really play strong defensive hockey, and for while that second period did kind of fall apart for the Finns, or for the Czechs against France, I still think defensively they played well. Like their goaltending was not good. Daniel Vladar did not look good at all in this game. He allowed 3 goals and 7 shots there at one point.
Mm-hmm.
I think that let them down. But overall, the Czechs did dominate most of that game. So I'd say I would be not too worried about where Czech development is, and it is going to be getting better. Obviously, it's not the glory days of when they were like the 1998 Olympics, but I still think that overall, like the development long term has been pretty impressive. They also probably expected at this point that David Jiricek would have been a very key part of their blue line, and that is just not going to happen. Like I asked a few scouts who basically said Adam Jiricek probably had a better chance of making this Olympic team this year. Like that's kind of how David Jiricek has fallen as a prospect, and it's tough to see because like him and Spacek and both in Minnesota, like they've been battling for ice time, and Spacek kind of deserve the spot on the team. So what I'm getting at is the future looks bright for Czechia. Right now, though, it just looks like they're a little slow, and they're not being able to go out there and outrace a lot of guys. Like Roman Cervenka is like 38, and he's one of the slowest players in this tournament, but he scored a breakaway goal today. Like, good for him, I guess. And he's actually a star internationally. He's been one of the best players in the World Championship the last few years. Why not put him back of Pastrnak? The two guys have been so good together at that tournament, like pure dominance, especially on the power play, and they haven't played together at 5-5. I don't know what they're doing there.
Well, let me actually, Aaron, if you could flash back up the Czechia DFO lines. Shout out to dailyfaceoff.com. There's a resource of having the lines for every team. I think if you're, again, a casual hockey fan watching, and you can just click over to dailyfaceoff.com and see who all these guys are. Like, an interesting approach here by Czechia to go Necas, Hertl, Pastrnak at the top, and you compare that to what Germany did yesterday. And I know they beat Denmark, so it's not exactly like this insane accomplishment by Team Germany, but they took Draisaitl and they spread out him and Peterka and Stützle, and they went with a bit more of a balanced approach, and it seemed to really work in that hockey game because all of their forward lines could sort of break even, and then it allowed their stars to have those moments where they took over. And I wonder if that was maybe a mistake by Czechia yesterday to have all these guys as one big line because, again, 3 great NHL players at the top there. But when you have them going toe-to-toe with McDavid, Celebrini, and Wilson, they're not winning that matchup, and you're screwing up the rest of your lineup.
What I would do looking at these lines, I would kind of put Palat and Kampf on the third line. I'd move Cervenka and Sedlak up to the second line. I'd put Pastrnak on the second line as well and put Ondrej Kase on that top line. And the reason for that is we've seen Pastrnak play really well with Sedlak and Cervenka, and you'd think in theory Pastrnak should be able to play with anybody. But I think also in particular, Necas and Hertl have actually played really well together. So you keep those two, you don't kind of change things, but then you put Pastrnak in a different line so that you could be a bit more dangerous. Like, again, David Kampf is your number 2 center. This is the guy the Leafs basically were just trying to give away. The Canucks have brought him in. He was playing first line center for a bit. This is not a guy who should be playing first or second line center on any team in the NHL or the Olympics. And I feel like in general, if you spread out that offense be a bit more dangerous. They took advantage of a French team that was tired. They got outplayed heavily by the Swiss yesterday. They played really well for a few minutes, but that's kind of all they really did in that game. They weren't sustaining anything. They weren't getting rebounds or getting those opportunities. So I think the Czechs are going to be in for one against Switzerland, a team that we do expect to be really good. And I think they've won like 4 of their last 5 meetings against Canada at the men's level. And they also won that game in 2006 at the Olympics. So we can't forget that. So it's something where the Czechs, I bet you they swap a couple lines heading into the next game.
That's fair.
Was it Czech Switzerland? Wasn't that a final at the World Championships not too long ago?
2024, and then Switzerland made it back to the final, where last year, if they had Nico Hischier, who got injured early in the tournament, and they had Roman Josi, who was already injured before the tournament started, they could have won gold. And a lot of that same roster is back, and everyone's looking healthy and looking good. So that's a team I do not want to mess with. They are my underdog bronze medal pick for sure, 100%.
Wow, so not a team that Canada can obviously take lightly here coming up in about 45 minutes time. What do you need to see then from this Canadian team? Like, again, yesterday, 5-0 win, largely dominant. There were some tight stretches. Binnington had to make some good saves, but no doubt Canada looked good in that game. But was there anything that you didn't love from the Canadian effort that maybe you want to see them clean up today? Because what's crazy, this is their last real test before the games really matter.
Now, here's a question I guess I'll ask you guys first about that. When you guys think of Swiss hockey, what do you think they typically are really good at?
Defending, I would think.
That's typically been like defending and playing well in their own zone and trying to win games 2-1 have actually been usually what they're good at. But they just led all teams the World Championship in scoring a few months ago. Keep in mind, or I guess almost a year ago, keep in mind, Canada had Nathan McKinnon, Sidney Crosby, Macklin Celebrini. Like, it wasn't like they were going up against a Spengler Cup team here, and Switzerland was actually a top scoring team. They have figured out how to play with speed and skill over the last couple of years. So, but they don't have the speed and skill that Canada has. I think that's the thing. Like, Switzerland's going to be in that medal hunt for sure. But I would be surprised if Canada doesn't win this game like 4-1, 4-2. Like, I expect Canada to score a bunch of goals. And with Switzerland, they've been getting really good goaltending the last couple of years. Like Leonardo Giannoni, I think he's allowed 2 goals in his last 8 games between the World Championship and the Olympics. Like, he's been downright great. And then you got Akira Schmid, who's an NHL goalie, and he's played some decent hockey this year. I think the thing about the Switzerland is they just don't have that speed or the skill to match Canada, and that's where they're going to go out there and win. It'll be interesting to see how their bottom 6 kind of handles it today, like with Seth Jarvis getting in the lineup, Brad Marchand not playing. It's maybe not as, I wouldn't say it's not going to be as physical, but Seth Jarvis can throw a punch. He can hit guys. He's not exactly a weak link out there, and his versatility should be good. So I think for Canada, you just got to run them down. You got to wear them out. Roman Yossi's going to play a lot in this game, 100%. But I think if you're Canada, just outwork them, and that's what they're going to be able to do well. They did that against the Czechs. Are they going to be a bit tired? Maybe. I thought Canada kind of let off the gas a bit in the third period, but that was okay because they were already winning, and they needed to keep their legs rested for today against a Swiss team that will be slightly more rested since they played in the morning. So I do feel like there's going to be a Canada win, but do not at all take Switzerland lightly. This is a program that is seriously on the rise, except for their junior programs. They've been pretty bad for a long time.
I think that is an excellent spot to end it. That's a great little tee up for the game that we're going to see in a little bit here. Keep up the great coverage, dailyfaceoff.com. Thanks for popping on, Stephen.
Thanks so much.
So, yeah.
There you go. Stephen Ellis, dailyfaceoff.com. Him and Matt Larkin got it covered over on the website. On the podcast video side, I'll be live immediately following the Canada game today. I'll be doing my post-game with Dan Riccio from off the roster, sorry. So me and Dan handling post-game duties, dailyfaceoff.com, youtube.com/dailyfaceoff if you want to give us a subscribe. Also going to be handling post-game duties on Sunday when Canada plays France. So giddy up. It's a capital GMC Buick game day here on the show. Is once again Canada getting set to take on Switzerland. I'll be honest, Liam, a little bit more nervous about this game than I was before Steven logged on.
I did place a bet on Bet365 that was -3.5. Wondering if I should cash out. Oh no, it's 2.5. I'm sticking with it. Do you know, I was thinking about something last night, Tyler, as I was watching Germany versus Denmark. And I think this would be a fun thing for Boards' Fun Zone one of these days. Maybe next week we can do it. But ranking countries that should be good at hockey but aren't even close. Like, we were conned by these Mighty Ducks movies that Iceland was the team to fear. And I have never even seen them in, like, Division C of the World Championships. I don't know anything about Icelandic hockey. I think Iceland should be better. We probably need a little bit more from someone like Estonia, I would imagine. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like there's more countries here. Poland? Where's Poland? Not even in the conversation. It's what?
Ask Waz.
Ask Waz, yeah. There's 3. Norway, good one from Connor and Kyle in the chat. So, I mean, we were gifted Matt Zuccarello, but outside of that, Norway has not provided enough to the hockey world.
So that's just a general beef you have?
just with Norway, I guess. Like, they're coming here, dominating their winter games, and can't even give us 20 good hockey players.
Pretty terrible. While we continue our Olympic conversation, can we look back at our prop bet draft? I want a quick little update on how we're doing since it's such a quick tournament. Aaron, you got it to pop up?
He's getting it right now. I know we're both tied for our checkpoints because Natchez and Pasternak both had 2 points today.
Natchez, Pasternak, both at 2 points. Obviously, both held pointless in the first game, so we're tight on that front. Okay, so let's go through Liam's. Yossi to lead Switzerland in points. They're obviously they're 1 game into the tournament now. So
Yossi has 1.
Oh, Timo Meyer has 2. So he is behind Timo Meyer. So you're trailing in that one. Czechia to finish better than Switzerland. Are you nervous about that?
Incredibly. incredibly nervous about that one. I mean, we'll know more on Sunday when the two of them play, but the Swiss, I undervalued them.
Yeah, and then we have what else? Oh, Natchez to lead Czechia in points. We just kind of talked about that. He's right up there with Pasta, just behind him.
Yeah, they're both tied for 2, so we're good.
Okay.
We might end up getting a split on that one, which is fine.
Yeah, so Pasta, Czech, that's my first one. Paterka to lead Germany in goals. I picked the wrong guy. Stutzla was plus 400 as well. He scored twice in the opener, so I'm probably a little hoop there unless Paterka can have a big game coming up here. Sweden to finish on the podium might be the worst bet of all 9 of these.
Yeah, that one, they might struggle to get to the quarterfinals at this rate. I cannot believe how poorly they're playing. It's really embarrassing, to be honest.
Aaron, you might be in the best spot here because Draisaitl to lead Germany in points is looking good. You should get a dub there. McKinnon to lead Canada in goals. Well, he's got 1 so far, so he's tied for the top spot. And then McDavid to lead Canada in points. He's leading the way as well. So Aaron might be in the best spot out of all of us.
I feel very good. I mean, we're only 1 game in, but I said I was just trying to bat singles, and I mean, 1 game so far so good. Let's get a Nate McKinnon 2-goal game today. I say the weirdest part, and I'm sure we'll discuss later. Cheering for Nathan McKinnon feels so weird and dirty for me. It's just I don't know. I shouldn't feel the way I do, but I do.
On the flip side of it, I have been very much enjoying other Canadian hockey fans, and this happened during the Four Nations, but the people online, Liam, who are like, oh my God, it is so much fun to cheer for Connor McDavid.
Yeah, it's a real gift that we've been given here in Edmonton to cheer Connor McDavid on. Nothing has changed for me. I'm still happy to cheer for Connor McDavid at this event. No Team GB, so I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, no Team Great Britain. Anything else you like tonight on the betting front? I kind of like Brandon Hagel to score in this one.
Yeah, I wondered about Celebrini again to get a goal. I mean, the odds are just tough for a team like Canada at the end of the day. So the like McDavid to get a goal is minus 125, which isn't terrible. Like, I wonder if it's just worth dabbling a little bit with like McCaw to get 2 points, which is plus 160.
I did McDavid 2 goals, Hagel goal, and then I took Canada minus 3.5. That's my run.
You went the line. Did you do that alt line, or did you? Yeah, you did go 3.5.
Yeah,
I just stuck with 2.5. I had a tough evening last night watching Australia versus Zimbabwe at the T20 Cricket World Cup. I'm sure most were engaged. Zimbabwe, historic victory over the Aussies. The Australian now needs to beat, I think it's Oman or someone like that to qualify, but huge upset last night, and I was on the wrong side of history.
All right, Liam, let's keep cruising along today. I think we're actually, just because we're going to wrap up a little bit early here. By the way, Logan Thompson confirmed. He led Canada onto the ice for warm-ups. It's Thompson versus Akira Schmid between the pipes for Switzerland. I think we're going to save our Meet the Sellers segment. We're going to skip over that one. We obviously went 40 minutes deep on the Olympic Games talk on the men's side of things here. So we're going to gloss over that and get right into what's trending, Liam. And there are a lot of very, very good headlines from the rest of these games, including a felon arrested at the Slovakia game. If people didn't hear this story, it is absolutely unbelievable. A man who was wanted by Italian police for 16 years was arrested in Milan, where he had come to cheer on the Slovakian national ice hockey team in the Winter Olympics. Liam, he knew there was a chance he could get arrested. There knew he was a chance he could be facing over a year in jail. He said, fuck it, I want to watch Juraj Slafkovský.
Just a dedicated man.
You talk about national pride.
Yeah,
like
on both fronts.
Yeah.
Like the fact he ran for 16 years, good dedication. I'm assuming he left his family behind, but then just showed so much national pride to go cheer on his country, Slovakia, and what seemed like a great atmosphere the other day as well against Finland. I don't blame him. Good for him. Good for him for being not selfish and going cheering on the boys.
The Norwegian cheater has won another medal. Sir, the Norwegian cheater has hit a second medal.
Yeah, that guy. What did he have anything to say today? Did the biathletes continue on? Because that sport is just taking over the world.
It's absolutely insane. I think I hate this guy. I've totally flipped. I think he's a loser.
Why?
I don't know. At first, I was kind of like, maybe love is love. But then I thought about it more, and I'm like, he seems and looks like a generally manipulative person.
I mean, I think it's fair to say bad guy. I think that's a fair label to give him. Clearly an incredible athlete. Let's not push that to the side. It's got to balance out in here somewhere. But his ex-girlfriend or fiance, whatever she was, came out and spoke as well the other day and said, "We have spoken privately, and I will comment no more on the matter." It is kind of crazy that these two random people who have probably jobs outside of being biathletes are now just on the national stage because this moron slept with another woman and called it out to the world.
And I'm so invested in their love story. If these two crazy kids can't make it work, who can out in the world? So I'm pulling for the guy. I'm opposite of Tyler. Hey, he knows he did wrong. He admitted wrong, committed social suicide, and it's a bold play, Cotton. Let's see if it works out for him.
Generally a sociopath move. All right. The other thing, Liam, while we're on what's trending, 30-ish minutes till puck drop. That means if you are downtown working right now, convince your boss that you're not working in the afternoon and go join Ryder and Lisa down at Greta. They did their show, The Sauce, live from Greta earlier today. Look at these specials. $5.97 pints of Bud. Hello. $2.97 house shot. $2.97 highballs. Running 1 hour pregame to 1 hour postgame. That is actually unbelievable. You don't want to work. You want to go to Greta, watch the game on the big screen, arcade, bar, street food, Ryder, Lisa, the Nation crew, everyone's down at Greta. Go join them. Of course, if you can't, I got post-game coverage coming on dailyfaceoff.com immediately following the game. Anything else in what's trending you want to get off your chest, Liam?
The Utah Jazz thing I think is very funny.
Explain.
So the Utah Jazz were fined the other day, yesterday, $500,000, I think it was, because they didn't play Lauri Markkanen and Jaren Jackson in the fourth quarter against the Miami Heat. They are their best two players. Ironically, despite getting a fine, Utah did win this game. There was another team, too. I forget who it was who got fined, but it was kind of a collective statement. Maybe New Orleans. I can't remember. Either way. The Jazz then came out, their owner, Ryan Smith, who, of course, is the owner of the Utah Hockey Club, came out and said, "Do you realize how difficult it is to pay these fines?" Like, well, for you, probably not that difficult, Ryan Smith. But all I say on the matter is they're acting like they've done this once. They do this all the time. They have no interest in winning basketball games. They are terrible for the sport of basketball. I think teams that tank in general in the NBA are terrible for the sport of basketball. And that's why the sport's on a downward slope. And the NFL is clearly the best sport in North America now. I think MLB and NBA are probably just on par with each other, which a few years ago seems kind of crazy to think that the NBA would have dropped so far because it seemed like we were in the greatest generation of basketball players.
It really is crazy. Like, again, I'm thinking back to like 10 years ago in the peak of those Golden State Cleveland series. Like, the NBA was king. You're right. And it has fallen very hard in the last decade. So disappointing to see. $500,000 fine. Ryan Smith's net worth, $2.6 billion. I know liquid cash is a different thing, but I'm sure the NBA can put him on a bit of a payment plan to help him out with all this. One more Olympic thing. What's up with the Swedish coach just being an absolute fucking goofball?
Yeah, not playing Forsberg. I think he's played less than 10 minutes the whole tournament. Did Ekman Larson get a shift today?
He did. He played a little today.
Okay, so the other story with Ekman Larson, which people pointed out, was his wife is pregnant back home in where does he play? Canada, I guess, in Toronto. And he chose to come here and represent his nation, and then you don't even play the guy. I just think it's kind of crazy. Like, as much as like that game against Italy was tight, I guess you could say, like, it seemed always obvious they were going to come out of it with a win. And you add on top of that, obviously, the Edmonton side of it of like Matthias Ekholm not going because of what happened at the Four Nations between him and the coach. I was reading some stories from people in Sweden, or at least Swedish fans, being like, this guy's a joke. Like, even they don't like him as the head coach. So it's very interesting. I always think it's a good thing for that country, ironically, when your coach fails so hard that he just has to get fired. And it feels like that's the way Sweden's going. And it's probably going to be a positive thing for them.
Yeah, if they flame out quick in this tournament, he's definitely got to be gone. That is one of the stories so far, is just Sweden's incompetence so far in this tournament. Again, half an hour-ish till puck drop here. We're going to wrap up because you got to do ONR, and then you obviously want to be able to watch a good chunk of this hockey game. I got post-game coverage coming up. Last thing we need to do, I think, Aaron, were there any new Spotify questions or Spotify answers for us? Our question from the show on Wednesday was if you had to bet on one change happening for the Edmonton Oilers, what would it be? We have a fresh one coming everybody's way today as well. We're going to make that one Olympic theme. But Aaron, did we get any new comments from that one on Wednesday?
He's just looking through. The one other thing we can do quickly from what's trending, Chris Paul retires from the NBA after 21 seasons in the league. As much as an asshole he kind of became towards the end, maybe the whole time, one of the greatest players to ever play.
And very famous for becoming a meme of Chris Paul makes a massive three to cut the lead to 52 or whatever it was.
He did gift us some great moments. Do you have some stuff, Aaron?
Spotify listeners got to start picking it up a little bit.
Unbelievable.
Because I got a whopping 0 right here from our last episode. Also, Chris Paul, legend of the game. Thanks for not putting on a Raptors jersey. I'm out on CP3. I always have been.
Our question, Liam, for our Spotify listeners, if they want to have their say, what player on Team Canada are you enjoying rooting for the most? Outside of obviously Connor McDavid, this is a chance, like you said, or like you guys said earlier, like rooting for Nathan McKinnon, like that's different. Rooting for Cale Makar, watching him. I've loved Macklin Celebrini, Tom Wilson, all that stuff. What player are you enjoying rooting for the most?
Mine's got to be MC Shock, Macklin Celebrini. I mean, he's a fun player. Obviously, the veterans on the team of the older guys seem to want to get behind him as well and talk about how great he is. McDavid had some very good comments about him. So yeah, I think mine is Macklin Celebrini.
I don't mind that one. I don't mind Macklin Celebrini. The one who does the biggest flip in my brain is Jordan Binnington. I love him in a Canada jersey. I despise that dude during the NHL season. So that one does the biggest flip for me. And maybe we can turn this into like some underappreciated players. I thought both Nick Suzuki and Bo Horvat, I know Bo Horvat scored. Nick Suzuki and Bo Horvat, I thought were both excellent in that hockey game yesterday.
Yeah, I think especially Bo Horvat. I thought he just kind of fell into his role really well. We spoke about it with Hots during the intermissions, didn't we? And I asked him, I was like, I just feel like if you had Bedard there, maybe Bedard plays a different position, but either way, Horvat can give you those 8 minutes where Bedard probably just needs more time to be effective. But I liked him. I thought he played well. I'm curious to see Travis Sanheim today a little bit.
Connor McDavid needs 2 points to move into the tournament lead in scoring in today's hockey game. I'm going to go ahead and say he does it, and I'm going to say Connor McDavid finds the back of the net for his first goal in these winter games. One more thing before we close out. We got a comment earlier saying this wouldn't have been, like if NHL players could compete the whole time, this wouldn't have been Connor McDavid's third Olympics. This only would have been his second. That could not be any more false. By the time the NHL returned to the Olympics in 2018, Connor McDavid had a scoring title and a Hart Trophy already under his belt. He would have been on the team as a 21-year-old. This would have been Connor McDavid's third Olympic Games.
Also, Macklin Celebrini is currently on the Olympic team as a 19-year-old who hasn't won anything yet. He's just playing really well, and he fully deserves to be here.
Yeah.
I mean, also, too, sorry, Ty, like Matt Duchene made the 2014 Olympic team. Matt Duchene. And he was great. Don't get me wrong. He was the third overall pick. But let's not pretend that Connor McDavid wasn't going to be good enough to play for Team Canada.
Yeah. One more thing before we close out. This is a personal shout out for me. I went to Golf Traders on the South Side yesterday. Got myself a new 3-wood for $100. Crazy deal. It's a really cool store. Shout out to my guy Maz, though, who hooked me up. He was a beauty. Enjoyed chatting with him. He let me try it out on the simulator a little bit. I got Amber an early birthday present. All in all, great night. Thanks to Maz.
Way to go, Maz. A big controversy in my golf league. I don't know if we want to get into it. We can wait till Monday if you want. But all I'll say is this. Corrupt commissioner.
Is this going to end up in your golf league's Instagram again? I stumbled into that bad boy the other day.
It might. It depends who's watching. But
There's an Instagram for your golf league.
yeah, it was made by our commissioner.
I'm gonna need that the moment this is over.
It's quite the league.
The clips they post, can we count those in our metrics at the end of every week?
Absolutely.
Yeah, we can probably add up the 20 views they get and throw them in there.
All right. That's a wrap on today's edition of the show. A quick one, everybody. Go get your lunch in and then get ready because we are 20 minutes away from puck drop between Canada and Switzerland. Post-game on the Daily Faceoff YouTube immediately following the hockey game. Have a great weekend. Happy Valentine's Day, listeners. I love you all so much. And I love you too, Liam. Have a good weekend, guys. We'll see you next week.
Goodbye.
What's up, Nation citizens? If you enjoyed today's episode of Oilers Nation Everyday, make sure you hit the subscribe button here on our YouTube to not miss any of our content. We got you covered from interviews, insight, analysis, everything you need to stay up to date on everything around the team. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a video.